Hey, what's up guys, TotallyDubbed here, and today I'm going to be doing a review and overview of the Perixx MX-2200 wired and wireless gaming mouse. So I'd like to thank Perixx for sending me this out. I'd reviewed a few other Perixx products and I was very much impressed with their price to performance ratio. I was very much intrigued to see how this would do. So this is the box itself, and within the box you get a manual, which is actually very useful as it gives you actual dimensions of the mouse and all different specifications of the mouse itself, and pictures to help you set up the mouse. And you've got a driver disc, which is very useful, and you're going to need this if you want to use the mouse properly. But you can also download the drivers online on Perixx's website. You just have to find the link, which can be sometimes a little hard, but I'll link that down in the description. You get the mouse, which is pretty much a given, and you get a docking station, which looks like this, which is also the receiver, or should I say the transmitter of the mouse, and a wire. Now, I'm just going to do a quick overview of the mouse, so to give you guys a little bit of an idea, and then I'll go on to the docking station and the wire. So the mouse itself is a 3-button mouse. It's got 2 buttons over here on the left and the right, and you've got the middle click on the scroll wheel. Apart from that, these buttons are rendered useless. These buttons are actually used for DPI only, and you cannot program them via the software for anything else, which is a little bit of a shame and a little negative point of this mouse, because it would have been nice if we could program these to something else, because on my Anchor mouse, for example, I use these for play and pause or spotting or whatnot, or should I say Q, macro key Q for Battlefield. So that is one of the little flaws of this mouse. But then going on, you've got a really nice indicator over here. This is your battery level, and it's going to decrease the more usage you have. I've got 100% right now, so it's on full. Underneath the mouse, you've got 2 sensors, so this might be quite intriguing because I haven't seen this much in mice out there. But you've got a gaming optical sensor and you've got IR power saving sensors. Now, via the Amazon description, it's a Avago 2000 DPI A3050 optical sensor, so that's this one. This one is just a power saving one. So how to switch between these? Well, it's very simple. You've got a little switch at the top, and if you just flick up, if I'm going to just do that, you can flick up, and as you can see, this sensor switches off and goes to this one, and then you've got the option to switch off the mouse completely. So I use the mouse on the gaming optical sensor mode, simply because I wanted to test its battery life to the fullest, and furthermore I wanted to get the best out of the mouse and actually use its sensor rather than a power saving sensor. Furthermore, in terms of the description of the mouse, you've also got LEDs which are over here, which are not too intrusive. They're blue LEDs. They cannot be customized or turned off. And you've got a red one over here, which again is quite nice, but it can't be turned off or anything like that. Now, in terms of the battery life, which I mentioned, it was actually very, very good. Now, I used it for a week and 4 days, and this was at work and at home. So basically what I did is I took this into work and I used it every single minute I was at work, because I am in front of the computer at work, and therefore I am using it all the time. So whilst I was doing that at work, after I finished work, I would take this home and then use it as my primary mouse at home. So in all honesty, I was using it of a good majority of, I don't know, 10 to 10 hours a day, possibly, something around that line, and it survived on the gaming sensor mode for 1.5 weeks on wireless mode. Charging wise, it took about 1 to 2 hours from 0 to 100, and that was via the docking station. So I put it on the docking station, didn't use it, I switched it off and put it on, and then I put the dual USB, which I'm going to get to in just a second. So overall, in terms of battery life, I was very much impressed. I don't really expect it to do amazing in terms of the battery life, especially at the price tag at £40 that it comes into. It's a good price to pay for a good to decent battery life. And it's also quite smart. As you can see, every now and then it switches off, and that's because if you don't use it, then it's going to switch off itself, and it's automatically turned back on by you just moving it around a tiny bit, and it switches on straight away. Now the docking station itself is very simple. You can see there's like a LED light underneath, and that LED light can be switched off via the software in case you don't like it. I quite like it because it reminds me of Need for Speed Underground. If I just turn down the lights a little bit in my room, you'll be able to see how it looks like, and it looks really cool. It looks really nice. But so I quite like that, but I can understand that some people wouldn't want that to be there. For example, at work I switched it off, but at home I have it on. Now this wire is detachable. Now you might be saying, okay, so the wire is detachable, what's that all about? Well, you can use it in wireless mode, or you can use the mouse in wired mode. So underneath over here you've got a connection which is the same connection as this, and you just plug it in and there you go, you're in wired mode. And that is absolutely brilliant because if you run out of battery you can go straight in wired mode and still use the mouse to its full advantage. And I really like that. It reminds me greatly of the Logitech MX Performance, which had the similar design and actually similar look to this mouse. Now going back to the actual USB itself and the actual connection, I did say I'm going to come back to it, and I am indeed going to do that because I just wanted to show you the USB connection. Now you might be thinking, what's so special about USB connection? Well, you've got two. The single USB over here is the most important one, and you're going to need that. However, you got a second USB connection, which is actually indicated over here for more power. So when I was saying I charged it, it took 1 hour to 2 hours to charge from 0 to 100. That was with both USB connected, whilst this was off and that was connected onto there. So it just gives you an idea of Perixx's thoughts. If you want to charge it faster, you can do, but you're going to need an extra USB, so bear that in mind. So that's really cool, but to actually use the mouse you only need the primary USB, and that's it. You don't need anything else. And as soon as you plug it in, pretty much drivers are installed, or Windows automatically installs it, and then you're good to go straight away. Now, in terms of its performance, in terms of as a mouse, I was actually very impressed by what it did and how it performed. However, there were certain things which let it down, and one of those things was actually the software. So I'm going to take you over to the software right now so you guys can see the software. And I just had the Amazon page up there, and I have Battlefield in the background, Battlefield 4 on the test range, and I'll allude to Battlefield 4 in just a little bit. Because there's something I wanted to outline. So as you can see, the software is pretty simple over here. Now you've got Office and Entertainment mode, which to me translates as gaming and normal usage, or desktop usage or whatnot. So I've got two different settings. So I've got over here, I've got it as previous and next, and then on Entertainment mode I've got keyboard macros, which are programmed for G and R, that means grenade and reload in Battlefield, or at least in most games anyway. And those worked flawlessly, and I'll show you that in just a second. Now, what got me with the software is the fact that if I change these, this is the only way to change the profile of the mouse. However, on other mices, I found that by simply changing the sensor itself, it would change the profile of the mouse itself. So this is gaming mode, or it is on gaming mode right now, therefore I would automatically assign gaming mode to gaming mode on there. But no, if I change it to gaming mode here, that is still programmed to whatever the software says. So even though I've switched it to gaming mode, it's still going to be on office mode, so to speak, on the software, which I was a little bit confused about. So what it basically means that this is not a profile switching button. Even though it looks like a profile switching button, it isn't. It is actually just a, shall I say, a hardware button which changes the actual sensors. But the profiles you want are going to have to be done via the software. So it's one of the little things that I wasn't too excited about, because I've got an Anker mouse which has the same thing, but has an actual it has a couple of different profiles I can choose from, and for example I've got two profiles set up, and I can easily switch them by a simple click of a button underneath the mouse. So what am I trying to say? Well, these should have also been linked to the profiles set on the software, or there should have been an extra button over here under the mouse or something like that, or something could be programmed so I could switch profiles. I don't like going through the software, pressing OK, apply, waiting for a couple of seconds and going back. I know it might seem petty, but sometimes I just launch Battlefield and I just want to get right in there. I don't want to go Alt-Tab, go into my software of my mouse, click yes, then go back and alt tab back into my game and then be like, oh yeah, I'm good to go. I've even forgot to switch my profile sometimes, even though I have a dedicated profile switch on my mouse itself. But anyway, that's my opinion of it, but I'm pretty sure other people would share the same opinion in that respect. But anyway, going forwards with this, with the software, so I'm going to show you what you can do with these buttons. So on the side over here, you've got basic settings. You've got left, right, middle, double click, fourth button, fifth button, tilt right, tilt left. You've also got basic commands like cut, paste and whatnot, print and save. Additional commands like switching windows, close windows, resource manager, run, and things like that. You've got media functions, which is play, pause, stop, previous, next, volume up and down, and mute. Or you've also got the advanced settings where you can put start, hit start, and start a keyboard macro, which is very useful. Or you can just do a normal macro with your mouse, which actually I'm going to show you on entertainment mode over here. If I press keyboard macro and then press start, and if I do that, you can see it's doing it. So anyway, if I press stop, it's going to register all of those as my keyboard macro. So just checking the profiles, just making sure I didn't save it. Yeah, there you go. So the profiles are, the keyboard macro is pretty simple and pretty easy to use, and it's very useful for people which play MMORPGs or MMOs generally, because they can keyboard macro to do a certain amount of things for a certain amount of attacks via one click of the button. Very cool. Anyway, finally you've got the battery power capacity, which is displayed over here. It's also displayed on your task bar, and I'll just show you on the bottom right over here. You've got a little icon over here which is a battery indicator, and you hover over it, it tells you the battery power capacity, which is linked to this software. Now you might think that is it because that's what all you see, but you might be able to see settings, and actually settings brings up a plethora of options. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit more so you guys can see a little bit clearly, and you'll be able to see you can change the DPI level. Now DPI level starts from 250 and goes all the way to 2000. It can be set in increments of 250, apart from when you go from 500 to 1000, that's an increment of 500, but apart from that it's 250 all the way through. So that's pretty cool. Now the polling rate is can be adjusted, but usually when you're on wireless mode, the polling rate is stuck to 500. So I don't know why it's 1000 there. It's maybe because I plugged it in and out, but it's on 500 usually when you're using the wireless mouse. But when you go on wired, you can adjust to whatever you want, and I have it at 1000. The indicator light is what I was alluding to before. So if I hit close and then press OK and then press apply, you'll be able to see this little thing flash, and it was on just before, and you'll be able to see it after it finishes its transmission with the PC. The indicator light switches off completely. I like to have it on at home, and I like to have it off at work, simply because at work it can be distracting for my colleagues, but at home I think it looks cool because it reminds me, as I said, of Need for Speed Underground. Now the scrolling mode is something that I was quite intrigued about. It was set to pointer usually, and I was told to put it on focus. Now I'm going to show you what I mean by this. So if I go on pointer, and let's press apply, and I'm going to go and launch Battlefield. Well, I have it alt tabbed, but if I launch Battlefield over here, just zoom out so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Usually you can scroll. Can you see this? I'm scrolling through this. Well, what happened is that sometimes it wouldn't work, and I was just intrigued why it wouldn't work, and I was told to change that setting, which would change the setting on Battlefield. You've also got a setting on Battlefield 4 that has a raw mouse input, so that also changed some things as well. So the reason I was mentioning this before is just because if you set it on a different setting and play, then you might find yourself with certain problems. You're like, why is my scroll button not working? What the hell is going on? And well, there you go. That is the reason. It's because you've got that little setting in your mouse settings to pointer or focus. So you should put it on. If I'm not mistaken, you should put it on focus if you want the scroll wheel to work perfectly fine with any game, and pointer for other reasons. I don't really know what the scrolling modes actually really do. I haven't really noticed much of a difference in terms of the actual scrolling, because they're related to the scrolling, but I have no idea. So I can't really tell you about that. But anyway, that's something I thought I should mention and have Battlefield 4 running so I could show you as well. Anyway, so what is my final review and rating of the mouse itself? Well, I really like the mouse, and I really like what Perixx have done. The form factor is really nice. The price is £40, so it's quite affordable for a lot of people. It's a wireless mouse. It's also a wired mouse. It has customized buttons which can be used for gaming or gaming or office use, which is very useful. It's got a nice button at the back which changes the sensors and gives you either more battery life or less battery life, and you can switch it off completely. And you've got the fact that you can put it as a wired mouse as well. Its look as well is very cool. It's very modern looking, like Tron, shall I say, with the lights and everything and the design. It's very cool. However, the slight problem with the scrolling that I had, the software which doesn't really look that great and looks a little bit off, and the fact that it doesn't have a dedicated profile switch, especially at the £40 price tag, means that I can't give this mouse a higher than 8 out of 10 or 4 out of 5 review. I think that's a fair review to give and what it deserves, because if this was, say, £30 or £25, and I'd say 10 out of 10, I don't mind about little profile switching button, but when I'm going in a £40 price range or a little bit more, then it's going to be less affordable for everyone, and therefore people are going to have to think twice about it. But if you're looking for a wireless mouse that can be used for gaming at good precision, then I highly suggest this mouse. I should state that I didn't really have any problems, apart from when I was going on really low battery and I was still using the mouse. It actually said 0%, but still lasted over an hour at 0%. And that was causing some stuttering with the mouse, but that is, as you can imagine, relating to battery more than anything else. As I said, the battery lasted for 1.5 weeks for solid use, and I was very much impressed with that. So anyway, guys, hopefully you've enjoyed this review and thoughts and overview of this mouse. I know it's been a little bit of a long video, but I thought I should cover everything. If you like this video, please give it a like. If you want to see more of these type of videos, make sure you subscribe. If someone's looking to buy a mouse like this, or was thinking of buying this exact mouse, then make sure you share this video with them. And finally, give me your opinions and thoughts in the comments below of the mouse itself or of the video altogether. It's always good to know what you guys are thinking. Anyway, guys, I've been Totally Dubbed. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video, and take care. Bye bye.